Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Yucaipa City Council meeting of February 28th, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask Captain Williams to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Captain. Jennifer, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Bogue.
Here.
Councilmember Duncan.
Here.
Councilmember Thorpe.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaver.
Here.
Mayor Avila.
Here. All righty, moving on. Mr. City Manager, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff would respectfully request that the council approve revisions to the agenda that include public hearing at 6:03 p.m. And for item number 1. And then we would also respectfully request that item number 5 be moved to the first department report this evening.
Okay, we'll move that after the consent agenda has been approved. Any comments or questions regarding that? Okay, very well. I believe, is it 6:03? Close enough? We're 2 minutes early. Okay, so we can sit here and wait for 2 minutes. Anybody have any clever anecdotes to relate?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, if we could just have to use a little bit of the time, we could take a formal motion to make the amendments to the agenda and take a vote on that, and then we should be right at 6:03.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the amendments to the agenda?
So moved.
We have a first
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. And now I believe I'm showing 6:03. And we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for item number 1, time certain, public hearing number 3, public hearing to receive input from the community regarding the City Council election district boundaries draft map. And the presentation will be by Jennifer Crawford.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight is the 4th and final public hearing for the council districts. And today, and as of right now, we've had no public comments received for this item. Throughout the public hearing process and after consideration received from public comments, the council discussed its options relative to the district map boundaries and determined that the current boundaries in place should be maintained because they are population balanced and reasonably compact. There's minimal population changes from 2010 to 2020. And the district boundaries meet all federal and state requirements. Based on these reasons, the resolution before you this evening, which is resolution number 2210, follows your guidance and maintains the current boundaries and attaches the map. And that's all I have unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions of staff? Hearing none. Jennifer, do we have any public comments regarding this item?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it for a council discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Also move.
We have a first by Mr. Thorpe
I'll second.
and second by Mayor Pro Tem Beaver. If no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry it. Thank you very much. Are we ready for a presentation or not quite?
Our presenter is running a little late, Mr. Mayor. Would recommend that we move on to the employee introduction if that so pleases the council.
Okay, we'll go on with the employee introduction, and that will be presented by, for me,
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce one of our newest city staff members. I'd like to introduce Douglas Crossman. Douglas is our Parks Maintenance Worker 1 in the Public Works Division. He's been a city employee for about 5 months. Douglas is assigned to provide ongoing maintenance of city parks and also public facilities. He reports directly to our Public Works Manager, Scott Washburn. Douglas is assigned to work weekends, and he supervises part-time staff while he's on duty. With his experience and background working for the San Bernardino County Regional Parks, Douglas has been an asset to the organization by being able to address significant maintenance issues in the right-of-way and also in our public parks, and especially those related to public safety. In addition to his skills and abilities, his abilities allow the city to complete many repairs and also improvements in-house quickly, which ultimately saves the city money. Douglas joined a very busy team in a fast-paced work environment, and he has improved the team's ability to perform high-quality work using his diverse work experience and also his training. He is a quick learner, and his willingness to step into a busy work environment is commendable. Scott Washburn and I are very proud of Douglas because in the short amount of time that he has been with the city, he's learned much about the city's parks and our facilities, how they operate, and he's eager to look for new ways to improve the city in which he also lives in. He always comes to work with a great attitude, a willingness to do whatever task is assigned of him, with excitement about making a difference in his community. What Douglas likes the most about his job is the ability to work on a variety of tasks and projects, as well as being part of a great team that contributes to the community that he lives in. He also enjoys the sense of accomplishment when he drives around the city and notices the positive difference that he and his crew makes in the city. Douglas enjoys hiking, NASCAR racing, and working on landscape improvements in his yard. He also enjoys welding and metal fabrication of yard art. Douglas is married to his wife, Martha, and they have 4 children, Zarek, Xander, Zophie, and Zephaniah. With that, I'd like to introduce Douglas to say a few words.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for letting me be privileged and honored to be here. And we're looking very forward to this new yard that we have for the city yard. It's going to be an awesome improvement for the city too. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any comments?
Well, I just know that Fermin is not a very short guy, but you don't look very big next to Douglas right there. He's got you by a foot. How tall are you, Douglas?
About 6'5".
Okay, tall guy.
Very nice. Well, sir, congratulations. Welcome to the team, and we'd like to take our picture with you. I'll meet you out front here in front of the dais. And the short guy gets to stand next to him. Are we ready for a second presentation yet? Are we?
6:15.
We could move along to public comment if apparently we have no public comment. We could move along to consent.
Okay, normally this would be the time for public comment. If anyone wishes to speak, there are speaker slips over there on the table next to the entrance. And simply write your name and give it to Jennifer, and you'll be allowed 3 minutes. Jennifer, have we received any public comment?
No, sir.
None through the mail either, email or anything?
No.
Okay, very good. We'll go ahead and go to the next item, the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that anyone wishes to take off for discussion?
I would like to remove item number 5, extending the existence of a local emergency due to COVID-19 pandemic, please.
I think you've, as a council, you've approved that already.
Oh, perfect. Was that included in that?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Okay, any other items that we should be removed for discussion? Hearing none?
So I will move items 1 through 4 and 6.
Okay, we have a motion to approve 1, 2,
We've already approved 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. 2, 3, 4, and 6.
2, 3, 4, and 6.
I'll second.
And we have a second. If no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it carries. All right, we still have 3 minutes, so maybe we can go ahead to mayor and council member business? Is that appropriate, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, I think that would be fine.
Okay, this is the time for me to ask if, are there any council member business to report? Okay, hearing none. Moving on, possible action or pending legislation.
I have nothing this evening relative to pending legislation, Mr. Mayor, but staff did reach out to Congressman Olbernotti's office relative to the Ukraine issues, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And Congressman Olbernotti has posted something relative to that. Happy to share that with the council this evening and seek direction from council on whether, even though this is a federal issue, whether or not the city council wishes to have staff prepare a letter and come back to the next meeting relative to those issues.
All righty, any discussion on that item?
I'd like to hear what he posted.
If council wishes, then I will read the posting.
Please.
Russia's unprovoked invasion is a violation of the Ukrainian people's right to self-determination and a step backwards for peace. The people of Ukraine are fighting for their freedom. The U.S. must support them by unleashing the full force of economic sanctions on Russia. This will require the administration to rethink its short-sighted policy of curtailing domestic energy production so that these sanctions don't harm Americans as well.
Okay, Mr.
I
Duncan.
absolutely believe we should write a letter in support of that, or to validate our position on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad you read it, because I wasn't exactly sure where it was going or how we could, how we had a more direct nexus to the invasion, but as it relates to domestic energy production and how we need to protect America's interests, I absolutely believe we should co-sign his efforts.
Councilmember Bo?
I'm fine with it.
Councilmember Thorpe?
I'll support it.
I think this is important. Yeah, this was one of the most heinous things we've seen so far in the 21st century. And there's absolutely no call for this. And I 100% support the Ukrainian people and pray for them daily.
So then the concurrence is to come back with a letter that is similar in nature in terms of the tone, tenor, and information that came out of Congressman Olbernotti's posting. Okay. Happy to.
Okay, moving forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, I guess we can go back to special presentation, is it?
Yes, we can. Caroline Velarde is going to initiate this.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I am pleased to introduce to you this evening the team from the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center, Paul Nolta and Jacqueline Scott. The SBDC stands for the Small Business Development Center and is one of many centers comprising of a comprehensive small business assistance network throughout the United States. The mission of the SBDC is to promote, inform, support, and improve the network, which delivers educational assistance to strengthen small and medium business management, thereby contributing to the growth of local, state, and national economies. Over the past year and a half, through its partnership with the city, the SBDC has served as the small business consultant for participants in the incubator program, as well as a community at large, providing one-on-one counseling appointments, workshops, and other resources and services that will be discussed in greater detail in the upcoming presentation. SBDCs are hosted by leading universities, state economic development agencies, and private partners, and funded by the United States Congress through a partnership with the U.S. Small Business Administration. They work with many cities for similar services and have been a valued partner in assisting small businesses in the community. So without further ado, I present to you Paul Nolta and Jackie Scott from the SBDC.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here this evening. The SBDC, actually, the SBDC is a network of outreach locations throughout the United States. We have over 1,000 of them. And what we do is actually we provide economic stimulus within communities through business development. We actually are funded by the SBA at the federal level, and we're also funded through GoBiz at the state. And then we also have our Riverside and San Bernardino counties, and also sponsorships, as well as our outreach support as we've had with the city of Yucaipa over the last year. So the way that we provide this assistance actually is we're a team. We are a team of expert and knowledgeable consultants that actually have extreme knowledge in all areas of business. We do have our expertise so that we can provide direct assistance. For example, if we have clients that need assistance with a government certification, marketing, social media, HR. So we kind of run the gamut on all areas of business. So you can see the great thing about this program is we're all entrepreneurs. And so we have all worked inside of our businesses, and we don't offer textbook assistance, and we're very targeted and make sure that our clients get the help that they need. And actually, one of the unique things about the SBDC is with our experience in developing the technical training, the extensive technical training that we provide is in recent months, we have the knowledge base because of our clients and understanding what their direct needs are. So this is just a sample of the types of targeted programming that we provide, providing extensive training on financial analysis, which really helps businesses, really is a game changer for businesses. For home-based businesses that need to understand what the rules and regulations are to operate at home. Also, we're seeing increasing starts. Business licenses are being pulled in enormous numbers recently due to the change in the business and economic environment that we're seeing. So SBDC has specifically created a program, and these are all programs that are 12 hours. So they're rigorous training programs that actually get very granular and provide really good hands-on technical assistance. And another need that we've seen increasingly is teaching our small business owners how to create an online presence. So through California Shop Smalls is actually another very effective program that provides our small business owners on how to do that. At the end of the day, we're linked to resources. We help our small businesses really get the correct information, accurate information, timely information about their business. We connect them, actually, in one of the most important ways is through funding sources. Every business is different. Every business requires a different level of funding. And so what we do is we help businesses craft business plans. We help them think through the likelihood of success and making sure that they don't overlook a little detail. And so what we do at the end of the day is we connect them with the right funding sources, whether it's SBA, local institutions, lending institutions. We also make sure that our businesses inside of our cities remain compliant. And what we do, how we do that is we make sure that they get the proper licenses and permits that are needed. And every business, again, is unique. And so we make sure that we guide them to make sure that they are in full compliance. We also have special programming. Actually, as early as the last 2 months, we have had in-person workshops here at the incubator here in Yucaipa, where we taught local business owners how to start a business in person. And then we've also done a branding workshop. So these are valuable. These are valuable because businesses can actually come in, network with each other, and they build a community, and they can also have a one-on-one relationship with a consultant that's actually in your community. I, for one, come on Wednesdays, and I'm available to business owners to meet one-on-one and in person. I think that affords them a really good resource. So we're all about impactful partnerships. So when we think about impactful partnerships, it's not just inside of the community. Our service is offered, as you may know, for free to our business owners. But obviously, we're asking you tonight to consider it inside of your budget as you have in the past. But one of the great things about this is you have access to state and federal dollars. And so if our program is costing, we can see here, $17,000, we offer a cash match program where it's dollar for dollar. So every dollar that you spend, we've through the state and federal programs, you're able to double that. We're able to double the opportunity for small businesses to have resources, to create jobs, to create economic development in our communities. So this is a very valuable program. I can go on tonight and tell you all the great things that SBDC does. Actually, we're pretty fortunate. We have a lot of really amazing clients, and tonight we do have 4 that felt compelled to come out tonight and share their success story with you. So first, we're going to have Mr. Sterling Hirsch with Sterling First Financial, and then secondly, we'll have Nick Dorado with Titan Constructor, and we're also going to hear from Ricardo Linares from Contact Calibration and Industrial Services, and then Lee Ann Chavez from Advanced Wellness Physical Therapy. Mr. Paul Nolta is here tonight. He's our director, and so after the testimonials, then we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. Mr. Sterling Hirsch.
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to chat with you tonight. I'm not sure how much time you want me to spend.
It's about 3 minutes, will be perfect.
Okay, so my family and I, we moved to the city of Yucaipa in 2014 in Beaumont for a little stretch, but thank goodness we saw the light. We love Yucaipa, by the way. Great community. Couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to be here and the sanity it provides me with the love-hate relationship I have with the state of California. Yucaipa helps me to really feel like I'm at home in so many ways. But when I moved here, I came from Palm Desert. I had established my S Corporation in 2008. I wasn't new to my business, but when I moved to Yucaipa, I actually moved to a home office. I had a large office staff in Palm Springs, went through some transitions in my business. But being a sole owner, I've owned some other businesses. I was in the pest control industry and had a partner for many years, and we started a few different offices in different places, Las Vegas and Temecula. And so as a sole owner, S corporation, you know, sometimes it's tough working solo. And when I came to Yucaipa, I started, you know, we've been through some major transitions. I had already in 2014 started working towards more of a virtual office. And since then, I've been trying to rebrand into more of a virtual family office. I work with about 36 national specialists, and I actually train accountants and business owners how to be more proactive and individuals and families as well. And in that process of trying to be more virtual, you know, I was already heading down that road. I had learned about the business center. I don't like the incubator name. I feel like I'm an egg that needs to be kept warm. But I found out about the business center 5 minutes down the road. And being a father of 6 and having all this transition going on with COVID, man, I'm so grateful that I moved into that office in February of 2020. And it's been such a blessing, especially as I've been building out my virtual family office, and then to team up with Jackie and have her and others that I've worked with SBDC. It's had some great consultation, and I'm pleased to say that in the last, this past year, my revenue's more than doubled. Certainly, part of that can be attributed to that process I've been through, the ability that I had to work with SBDC and many others, of course. But in coupling that consultation with other marketing strategies and things that I've been doing in my business to build out to my brand over the last several years. So it's been definitely a positive experience. I do consult businesses as well. I do business advisory. But I can see, especially for new business owners wanting to take advantage of that, could make a tremendous difference at any point in time in your business. We all need help. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nick Dorado with Titan Constructor Engineering. First of all, I'd like to thank the SBDC for what they've done to me in the last 4 years, 5 years. From coming disabled, starting my business, it's very hard in the construction industry. And meeting with Carla Gonzalez from them, Mr. Gohary, they're great motivators. Best team anybody can work with. They will help you expand. They will help you grow being a small business. From zero, I was looking at my accounts on Friday. The last 4 years, 5 years, we're close to 7 million on small projects and several good-sized projects. And it's all thanks to them that they've had me reach out, coming to their seminars, reaching out to other contractors, reaching out to cities, any public agency, and it's been their support, their help. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here. I'd like to say thank you to them. Okay, and thank you to you guys too as well. Okay.
Nice testimony.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ricardo. I'd like to thank the SBDC program for helping me out start my business. Essentially, I used to have a full-time job doing and just same services that I'm doing for myself now. With the pandemic came around, it kind of changed the dynamic. The way I had to quit my job in order to take care of some family members, but I still wanted to continue doing what I like to do, working. Living here in Yucaipa, I would always pass by the incubator center and just always have a thought in my mind of what it could be. And one day, we just happened to stop by and just ask some questions, and then before you know it, I have a business established. So, they helped me from day one, just pointing me in the right direction, telling me guiding me on, the proper licenses to acquire, just taking me in steps that I probably would have taken me a long time to just kind of arrive there by myself. So just a big help that this organization has been, and I just recommend it to anybody that would like to just start something and venture off on their own, and just kind of build yourselves up. It's a great help, the center. Really appreciate their help. Thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leanne Chavez. I'm a physical therapist and have been a resident of Yucaipa for 22 years. I moved here when I was 2. No, just kidding. I would first like to commend and thank the City of Yucaipa for supporting the Yucaipa Business Incubation Center. My small business, Advanced Wellness Physical Therapy, has been blessed to have an office there for 1 year now. It was through my affiliation with the business center that I was offered the opportunity to work with Jacqueline Scott of the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center. Within the first 4 months of working with Jackie, she introduced me to 4 other professionals in her network that have been able to assist me in the areas of website development, QuickBooks training, advocating for seniors, and government contracting. These connections would have taken countless hours of research on my part, and also trial and error, to find people such as these with vast experience and knowledge. They've helped my business immensely. By my 6th month in the program, my business had doubled in patient volume. Jackie had provided me with a marketing strategy template and spent quality time with me, explaining each area and how it applied to my business. This allowed me to focus even more on who my target market was. This was a pivotal point for my business, as it caused me to shift my business plan to becoming a solely mobile physical therapy practice, concierge style, versus the hybrid model I had started out with. Jackie's experience in the business world inspired me to think even farther out of the box, and she is currently helping me plan and strategize an e-commerce platform to provide wellness kits and education to my target market. I can honestly say that had I not been a part of the Small Business Development Center, that I would have felt defeated when my original business plan was not going as planned. However, Jackie has taught me that all good businesses continue to tweak their business plans along the way as markets change, new information is gleaned, or fresh inspiration is found. God willing, I plan to be a proud Yucaipa business owner for years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very kind words. I appreciate that. And also taking time out of your busy schedule. I mean, most entrepreneurs are just kind of, trying to make things work. I'm happy to field any questions that any of you might have about our program.
Do we have any questions?
I have a quick comment. I just want to congratulate all of you for starting your business. I know the city of Yucaipa has worked for years and years to be more pro-business. And this is a great city to open business, despite the fact that we are in California, as Sterling noted. But also Sterling, this is the capital of chicken ranches. I don't know if you know that. And Incubator Center is the perfect name for that area, just so you know. But with that, I'm glad. This is great to hear. I'm glad that Yucaipa is out supporting small business, and hopefully you'll grow into something even more. So great job, guys.
Well, my opinion has changed tonight. I just want to thank you for that. The 4 testimonials, moving, and I think I've changed my opinion about the the organization. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it.
Oh, great. I appreciate the opportunity.
Mr. Thurman? I would just like to say congratulations again, echoing Councilmember Bogue's comments. And just to remind the public that small business is the backbone of the American economy. And without the small business leaders that we have today, we would not be who we are, not only as a city, but as a county, but also as a nation. So thank you for doing what you do. Continue. Best of luck. And let's continue to try to make this a successful program. All right. I think that's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Do we need to do a photograph? No photo op on this one? Okay.
You can always do a photo op if you like.
I think the business owner should come down.
There you go.
Okay, we'll invite the business owners to come down, take a photo op with your city council.
As well as the CBDC representatives, yeah. Jackie? Paul, maybe? At least, okay, Jackie, how's that?
All right, one more. Sorry. 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to department reports. I guess item number 5, and who will present that?
That would be me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This item is reviewing the need to continue the local emergency, thereby recognizing the continued existence of perilous conditions as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and direct staff as deemed appropriate. As council is aware, back in March of 2020, City Council held an emergency meeting, declared an emergency relative to COVID-19 and impacts of that pandemic on the community and the region and the state and beyond. Since that time, a number of changes have been implemented by the state, talking about the state, relative to facilities or amenities or programs, opening them, closing them. And now with Omicron kind of seeming to be in the rearview mirror, at least for the most part, things are opening up more and more. And so asked council this evening to move this to department reports because we also learned that there has been new information coming from the county. They will be, staff will be making a recommendation to the County Board of Supervisors tomorrow. I'm sorry. Yeah, tomorrow. As I understand it, terminate the emergency proclamation originally proclaimed by the chairman of the Board of Supervisors on March 10th, 2020, resulting from the novel coronavirus COVID-19 affecting San Bernardino County as the emergency conditions no longer exist. So that's item number 33. Item number 34 is a recommendation to the board that they find that there is an urgent need to proclaim a local emergency within San Bernardino County resulting from the impact of the worldwide novel coronavirus pandemic to the emergency medical services systems. So essentially narrowing the focus of the emergency declaration to the emergency medical systems, but it still references the COVID-19 being the cause of that. What staff would recommend this evening is that we be able to come back to you at the next council meeting for potential termination of the declaration, allowing us the time to prepare a resolution. This is information that we just learned in the last day or two, relative to terminating the declaration, the widespread, that's probably not a good way to characterize it, the widened emergency declaration, and do a little more research on the need for a more narrowed emergency declaration, similar to what the county has done, perhaps not with the same language, but the focus on the medical services. And I reached out to the county today and spoke with the CEO's office, and their focus is, as we have all discussed in recent months, the impacts on the medical services, but in particular the impacts on paramedic services, impacts on transport, impacts on the hospitals as it relates to transport teams being able to drop off patients at the hospital. So that's kind of their focus relative to their declaration. But if council so chooses, we would recommend that we continue one more time and give staff the opportunity to focus the declaration much more than what the current declaration, how the current declaration reads. That's staff's recommendation this evening.
Okay, any questions or comments of staff?
Hasn't Governor Newsom declared it an endemic now and not a pandemic? I heard that on news where he was talking about it. We're currently an endemic, which is something we have to live with, like the common cold, right?
As far as we know as of today, he hasn't terminated the state's emergency declaration relative to COVID-19. But yes, there is definitely movement in the direction of characterizing as an endemic now, having masks be not mandated under certain conditions and all of those sorts of things. So there's definitely movement in that direction. But as of today, at least staff had not been able to determine that the state emergency declaration had been lifted yet.
I wouldn't mind. I think it's a good idea to wait and have you come back to council with amended language. I think it's worth noting that the Public Safety Committee has been working with the county as well as our fire partners and our partners with American Medical Response to work collaboratively to amend any problems or emergencies as it relates to patient transport. So that's been on our radar, and if maybe more specific wording that addresses that, and that is perhaps something that as a society we should be working towards all the time to constantly improve that. I think it's a critical function of government anyway, so I think that's a good idea, and I will support you coming back to council at the next meeting with some amended language.
Councilmember Vogt.
I concur with Mayor Pro Tem Beaver.
Councilmember Thorpe.
The same.
Okay, I think it's good. I agree also.
Okay, we'll bring it back and provide a little information relative to the transport issues and the AMR issues that Mayor Pro Tem Beaver referenced. I think that would be a good tie-in with a narrower focused emergency declaration if need be, so.
Okay, is this a vote item because we have to extend it for 2 more weeks?
Yes,
Okay.
and my recommendation is to approve staff's recommendation with the addition of returning in 2 weeks. In other words, you're extending the declaration. We would normally have to come back in 2 weeks anyway, but there's further clarification here in terms of the potential for a refined emergency declaration. So I would add that to the staff recommendation this evening.
Is there a way we can also add to that as staff moves forward and they have more clear language, that maybe staff can reach out to the affected businesses in the city that are operating with TUPs right now under this COVID-19 declaration that is giving them a little bit more latitude to let them know that that will be coming before council at the next meeting. Should they want to be here to be heard on that matter, they can be aware of it as an agendized item maybe prior to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent point.
Yeah,
Excellent
if you want to
point.
add that to the other clarification, absolutely.
Okay.
Is that your motion?
That'll be my motion then.
All right, I'll second that.
And we have a first and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to item number 7 now, Agreement Amendment, SB1 Local Partnership Program Grant Funding Agreement with City of Calamasa for the County Line Road Transportation Corridor Project. Fermin Preciado.
Thank you. Good evening again, Mayor and council members. Over the last year, council has considered and approved several right-of-way acquisitions for the County Line Road Corridor Project. As you know, the County Line Road Corridor Project will improve County Line Road from Bryant Street to 5th Street, which is about a 1.5-mile stretch of roadway. One of the benefits of the roundabout intersections that are part of this project is that they allow County Line Road to remain a 2-lane street between Bryant Street and 4th Street. The exhibit on the screen before you that shows the limits of the project, and it also identifies the intersections that are part of the project, beginning up on the bottom right-hand corner at Bryant Street and County Line Road. A single-lane roundabout is proposed at that intersection with curb gutter sidewalk street improvements to the west to the intersection of California Street, where another single-lane roundabout is being proposed. The area in green to the west of that intersection to 2nd Street, that was part of an ATP project that was concluded a couple of years ago, which included curb gutter and sidewalk. This project, the County Line Road Corridor Project, that is funded by the SB1 grant funds. That also includes a single-lane roundabout at 2nd Street and a single-lane roundabout at 3rd Street with street improvements continuing to the west and intersection improvements at 4th Street. That intersection there is not proposed to be a roundabout. And then continuing to the west to 5th Street, a dual-lane roundabout is proposed as part of the project there. This entire intersection is within the city of Yucaipa's jurisdiction, where the other intersections to the east, the south side of the intersection is in the city of Calamasa, and the north side of the intersection is in the city of Yucaipa. As you can see on this exhibit, the overall project is funded by several grant funding sources, as you can see by the colors identified.
Before we go any further, we may have a council member that lives within proximity to this project that perhaps should recuse himself.
I don't know the distance, but I'm about half a block away from County Line Road, so.
That's probably close enough that you should probably recuse yourself, I think.
Okay, I'll step out.
Apologize.
So the different colors identify the various grant funds that will fund a portion of the project. The grant funding that is the subject of the agreement before you is identified in the purple color. And again, it's the SB1 LPP grant that both cities submitted an application for and were granted the funding several years ago. Going back to early 2018, both the City of Calamasa and City of Yucaipa approved the original funding agreement for the SB1 funds. The 2018 agreement was based on the construction cost estimate at the time, which was estimated at about $7.5 million. It also identified the City of Calamasa would take the lead on the engineering design and also the construction for the SB1 grant-funded portion of the project. The City of Calamasa has completed the engineering design and the construction documents for the project. The project was advertised for construction bids in August of 2021 by the City of Calamasa. Unfortunately, at that time, only 2 bids were received, and both of the bids were significantly higher than the estimate. One bid was about $10.6 million, and the other one was about $11.7 million. Subsequently, City of Calamasa City Council rejected the 2 bids that were received, and they directed their staff to rescope the project and go through a value engineering process to reduce the cost of the construction of the project. The City of Yucaipa staff work with their consultant and also their staff through this process. There were several changes that were made to the project scope. They included a revised asphalt pavement section, which reduced the amount of asphalt on roadway sections that did not require a huge structural section. It also included, the revisions included the recycling of the existing asphalt material to be used for base, which reduced the cost by not having to purchase the base material. And the rescoping of the project also deleted the landscaping and the monumentation and signage that was designed for the roundabout intersections. Following those changes, the project was re-advertised for bids in January of this year, and 5 bids were received this time. The low bid was in the amount of about $8,186,000. City Cal Mesa awarded the contract on February 7th to Roadway Engineering Construction Corporation. The proposed amendment before you tonight reflects the actual costs for all of the phases of the project, and that includes the environmental review, the engineering design, the right-of-way acquisition, and also the construction costs based on the bid that was received and awarded by the City of Cal Mesa. The total actual cost of the project is estimated at $13,600,000. The City of Cal Mesa City Council approved this amended agreement that's before you tonight at their February 22nd meeting. The SB1 grant, it does provide $3,747,000 in funding for the construction of the project, and the City of Cal Mesa's share of the cost of the construction portion of the project is $2,611,000. That is reflected on the agreement before you tonight, and what's also reflected is the City of Yucaipa's share of the cost, which is $7,242,000. The reason for the higher amount for the City of Yucaipa is, as I mentioned, the dual lane roundabout at the intersection of 5th and County Line Road is all within the City of Yucaipa, and also the section of roadway to the west of that intersection, both the north and south side of County Line Road are within the City of Yucaipa. And it also includes the storm drain improvements that are on the City of Yucaipa side, and those are primarily located from Bryant Street to California Street along the north side of the road, and specifically at both intersections. Staff will return to council at a later date with a recommendation to sell the property that was acquired by the City of Yucaipa that it will not be required for the project. As you may recall, there were 3 full property acquisitions or purchases that the City Council approved for this project. Staff will move forward and set aside the right-of-way that's required for the project, and then return to council with a recommendation for the sale of the remainder portions, and 2 of them include homes on those properties. And for reference, the total cost of the 3 full acquisitions was about $949,000. The amended agreement identifies the City of Yucaipa's share for the construction cost, as I mentioned, in the amount of $4,530,000. The fiscal table on page 42 of the report identifies a current balance remaining in the project budget of about $4,900,000, so there is sufficient funding available for Yucaipa's share of the cost, and that, again, that cost is reflected in the proposed amended agreement that is before you tonight. So with that, staff's recommendation is that City Council review and approve the amended and restated Fair Share SB1 Local Partnership Program Agreement for the County Line Road Corridor Project from Cal Mesa Boulevard to Bryant Street, and also authorize the city manager to execute and administer the terms of the amended agreement. That concludes my report. Staff is available for questions.
Thank you, Fermin. Good report. Any questions of staff?
How come there's not a roundabout at 4th Street? Did I miss that? Is there a roundabout there or no?
No, standard intersection improvements are proposed there, and the traffic study that was completed some time ago for the project identified that the north-south traffic on 4th Street did warrant a roundabout at that intersection.
Is there gonna be a light?
No, just a stop controlled on the north and south side.
So what, currently, I think what it is now as well, right? It's just east and west, not non-controlled, and stop signs are for,
That's correct.
Fermin, are we gonna come back at a later date for the landscaping?
Yes, that's the plan, along with a recommendation regarding the construction of the area that you see in orange that is funded by the MSRC grant.
so the roundabouts, I don't know if, I don't remember hearing about it, but the roundabouts at La Mesa Boulevard and County Line, and as well as at the interchange, are those been approved as well, and those are taking place?
Those are part of a separate project, as you can see on the screen there. The area that is highlighted in that gray color, it is currently partially funded by other grants, which the City of Cal Mesa was able to obtain. And we do have those projects in our current capital improvement program, but they are only partially funded.
And they haven't been approved by Caltrans, even conceptually, with roundabouts, which would be required at both of those ramp locations. So, and if I may add, just one note that we like to put in these staff reports, very little general fund monies applied to this project, just a small portion of the PMP funds. But other than that, it's all development impact fees and measure funding and grants. So.
Mr. Bogue, anything else?
I'll move the item.
Okay, we have a motion to approve this item. Any other questions or second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes carry it. Thank you very much. Call back Councilmember Thorpe. And we'll be moving on to item number 8, acceptance of contract work, Five Winds Ranch Barn Building Relocation Project. And that'll be done, presented by Landon Kern.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Thank you. And this report is for the acceptance of the contract work associated with barn building located at the Five Winds Ranch Park and for the disposition of that particular barn building. And I'll start off with a little background of the park and the project. Here before you on the screen is the Five Winds Ranch concept plan. This plan was developed with input from the Five Winds Ranch Improvement Advisory Council Committee and subsequently reviewed and approved by City Council in June of 2020. This slide shows the overall park concept plan and the proposed park improvements along just to the north of Oakland Road here in the very eastern part of the city. This park concept plan identifies the removal and possible relocation of the existing barn structure, which is located just east of the existing adobe structure here in what is proposed to be the road and parking areas for that facility. And it was proposed to be, that existing barn was proposed as a part of this concept plan to be relocated to another location in the park closer to the camping areas and near the outdoor group amphitheater area a little further east between the adobe structure and the existing El Dorado Park parking lot. In order to accommodate the other phases of work that have been underway and taking place at Five Winds, including the site grading, the existing barn needed to be disassembled and removed. This next slide here shows the engineering drawings for the site grading at the project here. With the lighter gray lines on the screen being the existing contours and the blue and the darker black lines showing the proposed grading. Once again, that existing barn structure that was in place in this area needed to be disassembled in order to accommodate that this phase of grading that has recently been completed here. And this plan, once again, is consistent with that concept plan that was just on the screen a moment ago. Here are a few photos of the barn before it was disassembled. On the top here, looking to the west, along the longer side of what was about a 60-foot long by 40-foot wide existing barn. And as you can see in the bottom left part of the screen here, we're looking inside that existing barn structure, where you can see that the design was essentially a small-scale stable with 8 stalls for animals on either side of the corridor, 4 on each side. In order to facilitate the barn relocation, staff prepared a bid package for the disassembly and removal of the existing steel and wooden barn structure to be temporarily stored at a location on site, not to be in conflict with that grading work for the roadways and parking areas. And after the public bid process, council approved the contract to Adam Engineering Construction to complete this project on December 13th last year with a construction budget of $8,398. The contract work in the amount of $6,398 has been completed and inspected and is in accordance with the project specifications that were approved. And staff is recommending that City Council accept the contract work as complete and direct staff to file a notice of completion for the project along with the approval of the final payment. Through the course of the project, an engineering analysis was performed and determined that the interior stables that we just saw moments ago, I'll go ahead and back up to that picture there so it's easier to see. Those interior stables are essential components of that barn structure, and the barn would need to be reconstructed with those stables and the steel framing in place in order to accommodate a more open interior space that was identified in the approved concept plan for a game room and kitchenette and some other recreational activities inside that structure. Structural modifications would need to be made in order to accommodate that more open layout. And for this reason, staff has researched options to purchase and install a new building in lieu of additional design for modifications to reconstruct the existing barn without those stables. And the new building approach is estimated to save up to 15% in design and construction costs, as well as provide some more opportunities for staff to design a facility compatible with the approved conceptual plan with more of an open layout. With this in mind, staff has reviewed, staff has reviewed the City Council approved purchasing policies and procedures and has determined that the subject barn is unsuitable and or not needed for city use. Disposal in accordance with those procedures of city-owned material and equipment, if greater than $10,000 in value, must be approved by City Council. And if approved by council, the surplus property could be disposed of in accordance with the sale in an open market option as defined by the city's policies and procedures. And there has been some express interest from several parties to acquire this existing barn that's temporarily stored next to the ultimate location for the repurposed barn. Therefore, staff is recommending that the barn building be declared as surplus to the city and to approve the city manager and or his designee to arrange for and execute the sale or dispose of 5 as described in the report. And unless there's anything else we need to add, we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Okay, if there's no, do I hear a motion to approve as recommended?
So move.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry it. Very good. Thank you, Landon. Good presentation. Next up, number 9, 2021 Uptown Ice Rink Wrap-Up, and that'll be presented by Megan Wolf.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I would like to start by thanking you all for providing this community the opportunity to have an activity during the holiday time when most cities were once again closing their doors. As we all know, Winterfest was one of the most successful events we have had to date. And on that same date, November 27th, the ice rink opened to the public. The ice rink was available Tuesday through Thursday from 4:30 to 10 p.m. and Fridays through Saturday from noon to 10 p.m. Each session was 1 hour in length and allowed up to 50 skaters on the ice per session. On Mondays, the ice rink was open for private parties, and there were 2 local companies and slash nonprofits that took advantage of this, and that rental allowed for up to 100 skaters to skate on the ice. They had access to 6 fire pits, and they were able to use a tent with covered tables and chairs. And one of those private parties were for the Yucaipa swim team, and they weren't able to be here this evening, but they did want to say it was one of their best holiday parties to date. On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, the ice rink offered birthday/skate party packages, and those packages cost $375 and included 1 hour of skating for up to 20 people, a covered tent, and a covered tables and chairs and private party area for those that were attending the party, of which we sold a total of 20 of those packages. In addition, fire pits were offered Tuesday through Thursday for $50 and Friday through Sunday for $75. The time slots for the fire pits were 4:30, 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. Each fire pit rental included chairs for up to 6 people, and of course, a fire pit. We rented a total of 85 this past holiday season. Originally, staff planned to sell hot chocolate and snacks at the ice rink, and while that seemed like a great idea, I am so thankful that we were able to find and secure the gingerbread shop. For those of you that aren't aware, the gingerbread shop has been in business for over 50 years and is a locally owned business. The shop is normally located at the Mission Inn, but because the Mission Inn did not allow vendors or ice rink, the gingerbread shop was so happy to be a part of our event this year. We feel like the ice rink was a huge success to those that attended and those that rented for parties and private events. However, we definitely faced a few challenges. One of those challenges was the size of the rink. Originally, the rink was supposed to be 40 by 80 and located closer to the boulevard, but due to some miscommunication and the vendor saying that the gravel wasn't secured correctly, the ice rink shrunk in size by 1,200 square feet to a 40 by 50 and had to be pushed to the very back corner of the lot. And unfortunately, that negatively impacted us because our skate session size went from 50 skaters to 100. And therefore, our revenue generating opportunity decreased significantly. And on our final 2 weeks of the ice rink, a majority of our sessions sold out. In addition, we all know the cost of things is rising. And during the ice rink season, unfortunately, the cost of fuel became really expensive. We were originally told that we'd have to fuel the generator 1 to 2 times a week, and gas prices at that time were right around upwards of $3, and by the end we were paying right around $5.10 per gallon. In addition, in the beginning, in November and the beginning of December, I don't know if we all remember, but it was hotter than we had anticipated a normal December to be, and the hotter it was, the harder the generator had to work because it had to cool the freezer to keep the ice rink frozen. And so the generator had to be filled up every day. But once it began to rain, we didn't have to fuel the generator as much. So our fuel costs were estimated to be $8,000 and unfortunately came in at a cost of $15,876. Since opening the rink, staff visited several other rinks and has learned a great deal about ice rinks. And with other city events, staff is confident that with more time, they will make the ice rink even better. Actual revenue generated from the ice rink was $92,810, and actual expenditures was $143,120 for a net cost of $50,310. The net cost provided an unfavorable variance in the amount of $10,310. City Council approved the transfer of net revenue of $5,726 from Winterfest, which leaves a difference in the amount of $4,584 that will be covered by other savings within the Community Services Special Events budget. Staff is recommending City Council receive and file the wrap-up report for the 2021 ice rink and provide direction as appropriate for the 2022 holiday season temporary ice rink, and direct staff to include the expenditures and revenues in the draft fiscal year 22-23 budget. And at this time, council can discuss the item. I do have a video to show. I can show that now if you'd like. However council wishes is how we can move forward.
Shall we see the video?
Yeah.
Let's look at the video.
So from the day the ice rink opened, was so excited to sit here in front of the council and talk about how successful it was, because just seeing the eyes light up on the children and the adults that experienced it, some lit up as they were slipping and falling to the ground, but others lit up as they enjoyed seeing the rink. And this video gets to provide you a glimpse of that joy that you were able to provide others.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Are there any questions of staff?
So when we first approved this, we were talking about $250,000, right? That was the number that we approved, and I think David asked the question, it's a lot of money, or made the comment, it's a lot of money. So that number is not anywhere in this report. Is it because the rink was smaller that the cost was less, or?
It was $150,000.
No, it was 250 on the report, I thought.
How much was?
Didn't we see
You
the
may
number
be, you may be remembering the festival that was approved.
I remember
Eldorado.
145 or 143, something like that.
I remember the 140 something.
The 250 is for the Five Winds Ranch Kick the Dust Up Fest.
And we didn't anticipate to recover all the costs to begin with. We knew it was the first year, and was that correct? We knew we'd be close, but it wasn't 100%.
Right. Council approved a net cost of $40,000, and the net cost came in at $50,000.
Right.
I would also add that I believe that the Winterfest success was partly contributed to by the ice rink as well. Gave folks something else to do around the Winterfest, and was part of the reason why that netted out better than we anticipated as well.
I think it was a great addition. I think it was awesome. And I know how we operate. We'll learn from the issues we had this year, and we'll be better next year. That's how we do it, right?
So on the topic of next year, and I think item number, or the second point here, to provide direction for this year, would it have changed the outcome had we approved this earlier in the year to secure more? I mean, as we get closer to Christmas, obviously, these type of things get reserved through rental companies. Is it prudent on us to make make decisions earlier in the year?
Yes, it would be wonderful if we could make that decision earlier in the year. There's a huge savings if we secure an ice rink in the next 4 weeks. And also, when this item was approved, it was 11 weeks from the night of approval to the opening night. So that'll also provide us more staff, a longer opportunity to prepare.
Okay, so then do we anticipate that the same area will be suitable for an ice rink, or do we have, if it's not going to work to go there with the gravel impact, or if any other unforeseen things start happening there, do we have plans to move it or another location?
I think should council approve or provide direction to have a rink for the 2022 holiday season, staff will reach out to companies, will assess the location. One of the items that's recommended is that we put some infrastructure in, such as power, so that we don't have this fuel cost. And so staff will research all that, and then we'll return to council at a later date with possible location, cost, those items.
Sounds like we need to do that fairly quickly if we're going to capture that.
Sounds like we have 4 weeks. No pressure.
We'll come back to you within that time period and
Yeah, that gravel might be able to get compacted enough to, if you get the right contractor with the right equipment, they can compact the gravel down enough so it doesn't sink when you walk through it.
and maybe if need be, remove some of it, yes.
Yeah, yeah. The gingerbread house seems to be well received. Are there opportunities, should we approve another ice rink for the gingerbread house to come back? Or are we going to lose them to the Mission Inn?
Great question. The gingerbread house absolutely loved their time here with us. And unfortunately, if the Mission Inn does open up, they will go there because they have a lot of customers. I don't know if you've ever been to the Mission Inn. But they do want to branch out, and if we move forward with this item, I did say I would follow up with them, and they are looking into starting a second location and partnering with us again.
So again, if we come up with some sort of decision within 4 weeks, we might be able to let them know what our plans are, and then maybe they can adjust their business model, and maybe they can expand and come back again.
Aren't we considering that surplus property, though, as far as, I don't know how soon that's going to go down, but we are considering that as surplus property, right?
Yes, it is among a number of properties that council has directed staff to move forward on as surplus. There will be, that process will take some time, and then the planning process will also take some time for whatever comes from that surplus property process. So I anticipate that we'll be able to do that this coming holiday year as well.
And you're going to have several locations that you may want to recommend besides the one that was last year.
Megan will tell you there won't be a better one than that because it's right on Yucaipa Boulevard and a lot of people drive by there, and I certainly agree with that. But yeah, there are other options in the community, in the Uptown.
Okay, so this is a receive and file, provide direction as appropriate. Do we want to let staff?
I think if they come back,
Yeah, let
they're going to
them come
come back
back,
within
yeah.
4 weeks, right?
Okay.
If that's the direction, we will come back within the next 4 weeks with an update and seek further direction.
Okay, perfect. Get your marching orders or suggestions. I'm not sure how to put that.
Orders are fine.
All right, moving on to announcements. Are there any announcements to make?
No.
You want to make any comments about the Women's Club?
Oh, yes. Since I am an honorary member of the Women's Club, and I didn't wear my kilt that day. We had a we had a fantastic dinner. We had the 100th year celebration of the Women's Club. David was there and Justin was there, and they did a fantastic job speaking to us all, and it was a fantastic event. We had a lot of good food, and the women at the Women's Club were ecstatic that the three of us showed up and supported that function. So it was a fantastic event.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I didn't even, I'm embarrassed to say I didn't understand the full scope of philanthropy that organization really gives to this community. Hearing some of their members speak, and in particular a member of that women's club who has been a member in that club for 70 years, at the age of 104 was able to tell us the interaction she's had with the women's club and memories of hearing of rolling gauzes during the Second World War to donate to the American Red Cross, and having to date annual baby showers where they collect all manner of baby supplies to donate to pregnancy centers in the region. It's just absolutely incredible. I definitely have much more knowledge of their business in the community. They are definitely a partner of the city. They provide such a great service, and anything we can do to support them, I'm going to be all about it. They need a new roof, and we need to help them with that as well. I'm going to do everything I can to help with that, because that historic building needs to be protected. It is absolutely a part of our history, and it needs to remain protected.
And I like to add, I agree with everything both gentlemen have said, that I was just thoroughly amazed at what they do behind the scenes. And it doesn't get out. And one of my pleas was to ask them to make sure that it gets out so we know. So the more people that know what they do, all the wonderful things that they do, the more people want to contribute to help them, to help promote themselves and to continue to grow as a philanthropistic organization. It was a very, as suggested, it was an eye-opener. I had 2 pages of things that they did, and I had no idea. I felt like a fool realizing that I don't know these people. They do so many great things, and they don't get the accolades that they deserve.
It's amazing how many days they rent the facility out. They rent them for quinceañeras, they rent them for all kinds of activities. And during the COVID shutdown, they were hurting for money. But since the lessening of the restrictions, they rent that place out just about every weekend, which is amazing. I could hear all the music by my house there.
I did want to share a quick story. That member who spoke regarding Teresa Law, she when she was mentioning witnessing them grade that property by way of horse team to grade the property, I started talking about it and reading about it, and there was the same horse team, in fact, that graded Katzen Hill down here that leads down from 7th Street down towards the Vaughn Shopping Center. Just an extraordinary piece of history, and if that building could talk, well, we have Teresa Law to talk on the building's behalf. It was absolutely incredible to be a part of that night. So thank you, Madam Reporter, for being a part of that amazing group of ladies up there. You truly are an example for the young ladies in this community. So.
All right, Councilmember Bogue.
Are you for announcements?
Yeah. Anything?
I don't have anything.
John?
I don't either.
Okay. All right. It was a wonderful event that night. It was just great. Okay, closed session items. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. We've got a conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation. It's a potential initiation of litigation, and there's one item that the council will consider, and we do not expect reportable action on that. There are also a number of real properties as listed on the agenda that the City Council will consider with respect to disposition of. They're currently city-owned properties, and the under discussion will be price and terms of payment about disposition. City's negotiator is Mr. Casey, and we don't expect reportable action on those items this evening either.
Okay, everyone, thank you very much for staying here. Thank you, Scott Ward and Captain Miller, for being here, putting up with us for the evening. Thank you to the public again. We'll go ahead and close the public session and move to closed session. Thank you.